I am sitting here in the dark, staring at my screen, rewinding these scenes over and over again, completely paralyzed by what I just watched. I mean, we all knew Amy Choi was grieving, right? We all knew she was angry and lashing out at Holly. But this is pure, unadulterated, nightmare fuel evil. I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have seen some seriously twisted revenge plots, but what Amy is doing to Holly Jonas is making my blood run absolutely cold. Am I the only one who is physically sick to their stomach right now? I know some people are loving this dark, gritty turn for the show, but personally, I am terrified. I mean, it's one thing to want justice for your daughter, but it's a whole other thing to become a literal monster to get it. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up because my brain is going 1,000,000 miles an hour and I need to lay this out logically, even though nothing about this is logical. So, it all starts with Belle Black. Sweet, legally minded Belle sits Amy down and basically drops the harshest, most brutal reality check ever. She tells Amy that the Salem justice system is never, ever going to convict Holly Jonas of manslaughter for the cyberbullying that allegedly led to Sophia's death. And honestly, Belle is completely right. It's Salem. When does the law ever actually work in this town? The Salem PD couldn't catch a cold, let alone secure a complex cyberbullying manslaughter conviction. Plus, Belle points out that a highly publicized trial would just drag Sophia's memory through the mud, exposing all of her own mistakes, her mean girl moments, and her flaws to the public. It would be a media circus, and Sophia would be put on trial right alongside Holly. So, you would think a normal mother might hear that, cry her eyes out, scream into a pillow, and maybe go to intensive grief therapy. But instead of accepting this and trying to heal, Amy completely snaps. And I mean snaps. You can literally see the last shred of her humanity leave her body in that scene with Belle. Shanae Nielson is acting her absolute heart out, by the way. The deadness behind her eyes? Chilling. Because Amy realizes the courts are useless, she decides to become the judge, jury, and executioner. She decides that if the law won't punish Holly, she will do it herself. But she doesn't just grab a gun and go after Holly herself in a fit of rage like a normal soap opera villain. Oh no, she goes full on, calculating mob boss. I am sorry, but since when does Amy Choi have connections to the criminal underworld? She literally bypassed the local Salem thugs and hired a notorious, cold-blooded mob syndicate to do her dirty work. A blood contract. She put a literal price on a teenager's head. Remember when Vivian Alamain used to bury people alive? Or when Kristen DeMera would lock people in secret island dungeons and torture them with masks? Yeah, didn't work then either. But Amy is making them look like absolute amateurs right now. She didn't just want Holly dead. She wanted her to suffer. She wanted to orchestrate a masterpiece of pain, and she used mob money to do it. Where is she even getting this kind of cash, or these kinds of contacts? I guess grief makes you resourceful, but this is terrifying on a whole new level. And then the kidnapping happens. Just poof. Holly Jonas is gone. No struggle in her bedroom, no broken glass, no dramatic screams echoing through the DeMera mansion or wherever she was staying. No clues left behind for the Salem PD. It was a professional, surgically precise hit. The fact that these mobsters just swooped into Salem and vanished with Holly is absolutely terrifying. I mean, Tate was just comforting her, and they were finally getting to a somewhat okay place after all the fighting, and now she is just erased from the map. The Salem PD is running around in circles like they always do, completely baffled. Rafe and Jada are probably scratching their heads, looking at dead ends, completely unaware that they are dealing with a professional syndicate. And Amy? Amy has a perfect ironclad alibi. She made sure she was completely insulated from the actual crime. Okay, back to the point. The scenes with Holly in that isolated, abandoned warehouse. I can barely even talk about them without crying. It is so incredibly dark. Amy's specific instructions to the mob were not to kill Holly quickly. Let me repeat that, because it is so messed up. She explicitly ordered them to drag it out. She wants Holly to feel the exact same terror, the exact same isolation, and the exact same slow, agonizing death that she believes Sophia felt in that freezing river. Holly is being subjected to psychological and physical torture by these ruthless criminals, and she is entirely alone. Ashley Puzemis is delivering such a raw, heartbreaking performance. You can feel Holly's absolute despair. She is just a kid. A deeply flawed, sometimes awful kid who made terrible choices, but a kid nonetheless. Nobody deserves to be handed over to the mafia. And what is Amy doing while Holly is screaming in a warehouse? She is standing there in the town square, playing the grieving, heartbroken mother, watching the Jonas family completely fall apart. She is actually enjoying the sight of their suffering. It is sick. She is looking at Nicole, who, by the way, has lost so many children and suffered so much tragedy already, and watching her panic and cry, and Amy is drinking it in like a fine wine. I know Amy lost her daughter, and that is a pain no parent should ever have to endure. But this crosses every single line of human decency. She is torturing a child and relishing the collateral damage. How is she ever going to come back from this? The answer is, she can't. Once you cross into hiring the mob to torture a teenager, your soul is gone forever. I mean, part of me gets it. I really, truly do. If I lost my kid and thought the person responsible was just going to walk free, go to college, and live a happy life with her boyfriend, I would be furious too. I would want vengeance. I would want to scream at the sky and burn the world down. But hiring the mafia to torture a teenager in an abandoned warehouse? No. Just no. I kind of wanted Amy to get some sort of justice. Maybe a civil suit or a confrontation, but not like this. Now I am just praying that Tate, or Jada, or someone figures out the truth before it's too late. Because if Holly actually dies in that warehouse, the show is going to be incredibly depressing, and I don't think I can handle that kind of darkness on my screen every afternoon. We need a hero right now, and we need one fast. But here is the massive, absolutely devastating twist that we all know is coming. Because this is Days of Our Lives, right? Nobody stays dead in Salem. I mean, look at Lexi Carver. Look at EJ. Look at half the town. We all know how this works. Sophia's body hasn't been found. They keep saying she is presumed dead in the Salem River. Guys, Sophia is alive. I am calling it right now. Mark my words. She is going to wash up on some shore, or she got pulled out by someone, or she faked the whole thing to escape her own drama, and she is going to make a miraculous return. And I am simultaneously here for it and dreading it, because think about the absolute tragedy of that moment. Really think about it. Sophia comes back, expecting to run into her mother's loving arms, only to find out that her mother has turned into an irredeemable monster. How do you look at your mom the same way when you find out she became a mob boss, ordered a hit on your high school rival, and had her tortured in a warehouse? Amy is destroying her own soul for a daughter who isn't even dead. When Sophia returns, there will be no happy reunion. The blood on Amy's hands will permanently destroy their family. There is no miracle in Salem that can wash away the fact that Amy tortured a girl. I am literally hyperventilating thinking about the fallout. Let me know if you guys are as stressed as I am down in the comments, because I need a support group for this storyline. And let's talk about the Salem Police Department for a second, because I am honestly losing my mind over their incompetence. How does a massive mob operation just set up shop in an abandoned warehouse right under Rafe Hernandez's nose? I mean, come on. Jada is usually so sharp, but they are completely blind to what's happening. They are probably out there, dragging the river for Sophia, or looking into petty local thugs, completely ignoring the fact that Amy Choi has suddenly become the godmother of the Salem underworld. It makes me want to pull my hair out. If Tate doesn't go rogue and start investigating this himself, Holly is doomed. Tate is the only one who seems to realize that something deeply sinister is going on, and I am putting all my money on him being the one to finally crack Amy's perfect alibi. So, what happens next? I am pacing my living room just thinking about it. If Sophia walks through the door while Holly is still bleeding in that warehouse, does Amy call off the dogs? Or is she so far gone, so completely corrupted by the power and the vengeance, that she finishes the job anyway? I honestly don't know anymore. This show has taken such a dark, twisted turn, and I am strapped in for the ride, but my anxiety is through the roof. The writers have outdone themselves with this psychological horror. Amy Choi is officially the scariest villain on daytime television right now, and I am counting down the minutes until the next episode. Please, please tell me I am not the only one obsessing over this. Drop your theories below, because I need to know how you guys think this nightmare is going to end.